and welcome to the Joe McNeil Podcast Solo Edition. I don't have a partner today, so I am kind of setting up. I hit record. Hopefully this looks good. I did have somebody take a look at it, but they didn't want to be on the podcast either. This is what happens when the boss or dad takes over. It's like, hey guys, you want to be on the podcast? Jay is in the middle of U.S. Open prep. He is getting ready to try to qualify for the U.S. Men's Open. Has like 9,000 steps, so he's gonna obviously needs to be practicing. So he's practicing there, and hopefully he'll have a good time on that first stage out there at Sonterra here in San Antonio. But a lot of stuff has went on since the last episode. So the last episode was me and my wife Lacey, and we just kind of covered. We ended up getting stuck on speeding tickets and cops in our local community. But the one before that was the Masters, and we had, I think that did just flicker. Man, I don't know what it is, but every once in a while, I'm in my teaching bay, those lights kind of flicker. I do have the air conditioning running. I don't think it's picking up. I'm hoping it's not picking up. But if we end up with some terrible background noise, then we'll maybe reshoot this, and by then somebody can actually be a part of this. But we're doing a weekly podcast, episode 15. I want to make sure I keep putting these things out there on a consistent basis. Hopefully we'll grow the audience. And anyway, so let me grab my notes here. All right, some notes. Well, I think the thing that has to be talked about is the viral reel. You've all probably seen it, but we had the Masters episode, and we kind of documented everything that happened to us, the experience of going out on Augusta National. And then I put out a reel about inside the Masters Pro Shop. Typically, my reels were not obviously heavily followed, but typically they'll get 1,500 views on Instagram, 1,500, 2,000. This thing went up to about 17, 18,000 pretty quick. And people started commenting on it. And so it was like, okay, this is cool. This is the power of Augusta National. Whether you love it or hate it, you're going to comment on it. And that was exciting. So I was like, hey, let's put out another one. Let's put out the clip. And that was they're just clips from the podcast, but let's put out the clip when we got stopped by security on day 2. So we put that out there, and it went bonkers, at least for me. Okay, so I think right now we're at 450,000 views on that. We have had so many comments. And it's really kind of fun, right? You were like, oh my gosh, yeah, we wanted to read these. No more AI comments, at least for a week. Most people are very, very kind and understanding, but then you had a few. It's like, I don't get this, but they go, you seem like you're lying. Okay, I'm not. But yeah, I kind of felt like that too when I was being interrogated. I just thought, like, God, my story does not sound believable. At the time, yeah, so we picked up over like 250 followers on my Instagram. The one had 26,000 views. I think it's probably almost close to 30,000 views. That's the one in the Pro Shop. Somebody commented, NC_shooter commented, I was in line for 2.5 hours on Wednesday and Thursday. So we were there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It was like that all day. And then somebody says, my quarter zip extra large was too small. My polo extra large are too big, but tees and hats fit perfectly. And that was Hate Dis. That's the user. And I said, yeah, my pullover doesn't fit either. And that's kind of disappointing. But you are able to exchange these. I just don't know how to go about that. My lights flickered again. Well, a good thing this is a podcast, right? So listen to the audio. That's really where I'd like to grow this. And then maybe one day we'll create some meaningful content on YouTube that YouTube actually likes. We'll see. But somebody said, I said, "Hey, you'll spend $3,000 and won't blink." They said, "Or 10,000." It's the most fun you'll ever have shopping as a dude, and you don't ever want to leave. That was at Preston underscore 2345. Um, and then here's Russell underscore Smeek. He says, I love it in there because my wife and I made an unspoken agreement that we have no price limit when we're in there. I've been many times, so I'm used to the chaos. The thing I do hate, though, are the inconsiderate dolts who carry their dang chairs in with them and smack into other people without realizing it. As far as the wrong sizes, you can bring the items back along with the receipt during the week for either a return or exchange. But I think after the week, there's nothing available for you to do. Interesting. And then somebody said they had a couple videos of it. And then somebody, let's see here, Chizo911 says, Russell Smeek, the back of the receipt that has a QR code on instructions with how to mail it in and get it in exchange. He said it was also a quick turnaround, but I do live in Augusta. So I guess the back of the receipt, there's a QR code for the Masters. If you got the wrong size, scan that and they'll tell you how to send it in and get it in exchange. Really interesting to know. I never looked at the receipt. Once I bought all that stuff, I didn't want to look at it again. And then somebody comments, LM Geese, I don't know. Russell Smeek, you sound like a huge tool. Russell is just commenting. I don't even know who Russell is, but he's nicely commenting on my Masters reel. And then somebody pops in there and goes, you sound like a huge tool. It's like, okay. And then somebody comments to Preston 2345 and says, get a life, you plug. And they're like, yeah, agreed. I just, social media is something else. People are mean. Okay, they're pretty mean. Okay, so then we go to the viral reel. At the time that I wrote this out, we had 432,000 views, 4,782 likes, over 186 comments, 66 reposts, and 6,437 shares. And the first comment just says, Mr. Two Putt Bogey. Oof. He says, I'm glad they're doing this, but I also hope they stop letting all the influencers in and don't let people buy tickets multiple years in a row. So more people in the lottery have a chance once in their lifetime. And then he says to some Brittany B, she must have commented on there and he's responding. I mean, you end up with this whole, they start out talking to you, but you really just facilitated the conversation. You started the topic and it's all these people you do not know. And they're like, yeah, let's get in an argument with people we've never met. So he says, I am sick of seeing those stupid azalea hats on every IG account. Here's this online income. These are, whatever. Okay. This happened to my sister and me. We have yearly badges. She mailed them to my dad in Aiken because I arrived before her. He has tickets too. There is a chip in them that tracks everything. Is buying from an agent still a thing? And then somebody, I need to find that one. Somebody was like, yeah, I buy from an agent and here's what I do and here's what I pay and here's where I pick them up. And I commented and said, good for you. Probably wouldn't put that online. So again, to recap, we were gifted 2 tickets or 4 tickets, 2 for Monday, 2 for Tuesday. Me and my son Jehu had recently overcome a battle with cancer. We're gifted these tickets by a very generous friend of ours who gets tickets every year. They were not sold. We were given the tickets. Okay. So then we were flagged on Tuesday by security, led into a separate thing. It took about an hour. It was very uncomfortable, and we were grilled on, the friendship history, where we got the tickets, how much we paid for them, and we were asked like multiple times, how much did you pay for them? So that's the reel I'm referencing, and people are commenting. I hate that this is happening, says Druzy 1955. So if I win the lottery, I can't give to my family to share, my real friends. You can. You're not allowed to sell. I believe is kind of the consensus on this, but some people are like, yeah. And then somebody says they need to be sued for this harassment. Well, just to be clear here, we loved Augusta National. We loved the Masters. We had an amazing time. It was incredible. I just thought that that was an interesting thing. I'd never heard of that happening. Now that I posted it out there, it seems like it does happen a lot more than what's known. And so I just thought it was interesting. I thought maybe people would find that interesting. I wasn't really trying to badmouth on Augusta or the Masters. We love it. It exceeded all our expectations. Hey, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Are the clothing sizes a little off? Yeah. Okay. People have had issues. Is it, but it's an experience, man. It is an experience. It is an experience. Um, but yeah, and then they're talking about reselling the stuff in the pro shop. I would say he says, this is Go Patriots 2356. Absolute joke. It wasn't like this 10 to 15 years ago. It's ruined. And these influencers and celebs mean frog turds to golfers. I don't know what that means. I wanted to see caddies and family members hit shots, not NFL players reading putts and actors giggle farting. So anyways, and somebody says this, hey, it's a private club. The people who buy the tickets agree to abide by the rules. I agree. It's a private club. They can do whatever they want. Remember when women weren't allowed in the clubhouse? That got a lot of pushback, but it is a private club, right? And they can do what they want. They've since allowed wives to go there. I remember telling my wife, I was like, yeah, you would not, if we got invited to the clubhouse, you would not be allowed in. And she thought that was pretty stupid. But it's a club. They can do what they want. And that's firmly where I'm at. It's if you have the money to start a private club like that and want to, you can make up the rules, whatever you want to do. And if people don't like it, they don't have to go. Of course, we don't really get to choose when we go, do we? I'm imagining everybody that is, if you've watched to this point, you're probably my friend, or maybe you find this interesting, but we all apply for the lottery. We all apply for the Augusta National Lottery. We want to go to the Masters every single year. I can't think of any circumstance that I would ever sell my tickets. Why would I do that? I want to go every year. And if I couldn't, I would definitely give them to someone close to me. Or even, honestly, I might give them to somebody here at Short Game if nobody in my family could go. There's no way I'm selling the tickets. I'm not doing it. And people are like, oh, the Masters is cooked. Nah, I don't think so. They're like, now this was kind of interesting. Somebody says, this is, I just hope that I'm picking the right person. R Kizzo 83. Augusta has lost control. Well, that one's not. No, sorry. This is Sean Winton _ golf travel. Sean Winton _ golf travel. Augusta has lost control and they're losing millions on ticket revenues because they don't own the badges. They're using gangster tactics to confiscate and retake ownership of as many badges as possible. The patrons, residents of Augusta, own them. There is close to 50,000 entries daily through the gates. It's higher than that, I think. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just okay. Let's not argue with this. This is interesting. There's close to 50,000 entries daily through the gates, and if the owners of the badges don't offer them up to the secondary market, whether gift or for profit, I would guess at least 50% of the daily spectators can't get a ticket, maybe more. These tactics are very real. And can you imagine buying an experience like a Super Bowl ticket and being told if you got stopped at the gate and asked where you got the tickets, you have to tell a lie so you don't get your tickets taken from you is maybe the most preposterous situation for any sporting event. It's wrong and they need to fix it. The solution: buy the badges out from the owners over 5 years and offer a profit share. The consumer will fund it as they want a safe way to experience this amazing experience. As amazing as the Masters is once, or if you get past their dogs at the gates, they have ruined so many dreams by refusing entry. Do better, Augusta. Again, these are not my comments. These are comments on my viral reel. Been many times with family tickets, and I've never been pulled to the side. That was Mike Hagan, 5150. Good for you, Mike. Good for you. No, I mean that it's it's all over the place. There is a lot of angry comments, and I don't know if these are people that are actually going. And so you really want to talk to the ones that have actually been there. And then they're talking about sales. It's just unbelievable. Okay. How about this? I don't know if this is true, but SK Midlet says they ran a sting. People who volunteer to work that week are given tickets. This is true. I know they are given tickets. That is true. Over 100 of those volunteers sold their tickets for profit. And this year, they actually had federal agents checking and investigating those specific tickets given to the volunteers. More than 100 volunteers were escorted out of the Masters this year and are unable to return ever. I don't know if that's true, SK Midlet. I would love to hear some proof on that. I'd love to talk to somebody in charge. Is that true? Did Augusta National run a secret sting on their volunteers, over 100 volunteers? Did they give tickets to those 100 volunteers? And then when they found out they were sold, they escorted all of them out of the Masters and banned them for life. Is that true? I don't know. Somebody says this is the worst major. No, it's not. I mean, by far, the Masters is my favorite. Augusta National is my favorite golf course. It's my favorite major. I look forward to it all year. It's awesome. And then someone says this, okay, Joel Nimmons, I'm guessing your friend will no longer receive tickets in the future based on your vague answers. Why wouldn't you explain exactly the person who gave you the tickets? They know exactly who they were issued to. Joel Nimmons, yes, I did tell him the exact person that gave me the tickets. In fact, when I went to will call, I had to give my friend's name and I had to give my name because they were left in my name by my friend. I had to say, "Hi, I am Joe McNeil here to pick up passes that were left to me by." They looked through that. They need my ID. I received the ID. I received the tickets. That's how I got them. Okay. I know they have, I don't know how it works, but I know they have RFID technology in these, but I don't like, they can't track that it went all the way to Aiken with me, but maybe that's what it is, right? It left the grounds. It was outside the range. I don't know. But when I was talking to the security officer, I gave him all the information. There wasn't anything I held back. I told him everything. I met him here. I met this person here. This is how I got the tickets. So he said, I'm guessing he'll no longer receive tickets. That will not be the case. He gets them directly from the club. I just can't give out the ID or identity. But he was not happy when I told him what had happened. He was very apologetic and didn't understand. So my take is there's some type of parameter for why they're scanning tickets. It's either, hey, they came in 2 days, or yeah, maybe the tickets were too far off. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure why, or maybe it's just truly random. I doubt it's random though. I think there's specific reasons. So I'm just like, hey, Joel Nimmons, why would I list the name of the person that gave me the tickets? I'm not going to do that on social media. So I was trying to be a little bit vague in the storytelling to protect some identities and stuff like that. So, um, So they're like, hey, oh, and then he decides to question again. Joel Nimmons comes back. I don't know who this guy is. I appreciate you commenting and asking questions, but he says, are you sure you picked them up at the will call window? I don't think there's a ticket will call service at the Masters tournament. According to the official patron information, they must have their tickets and badges upon arrival, as there's no on-site locations to pick up tickets. And I thought so he's questioning all this. There is will call. Okay, it's very small. It's a white building on the right-hand side, right before you go into the tunnel, which is right before the gates. So I looked it up as well. My friend said pick him up at will call. So when we got there, we're looking all around. We didn't. It looks like a little white cabin, but we got through the tunnel, and then I got to the cell phone area. Nope, didn't see anything. I go to the cell phone area where you can, check your cell phone for the day. I said, I'm looking for ticket services. They go, oh, it's that white building back before the tunnel. So we had to walk back there. Anyways, not making any of this up. I'm not sure why I would do that. So, but I said, hey, yeah, they don't mention that they have that. So, anyways, and then somebody else, let's see here. Your story sounds 100% fictional. So you were lucky he even let you in. Well, that's because I was protecting some identities. To the security guard, I was completely forthcoming, didn't hold anything back. And so I said, that was Bystead. I said, nope, that was complete truth. That's the thing. I'm not going to, I don't know why I would make this up. I mean, to be honest with you, if you look at all my other reels, we get 1,200, 1,500 views. So I wasn't doing this for views. I just, after every episode of the podcast, we kind of grab something that we think might be interesting and put it out there. So anyways, that was fun. It was good. And now I'm in search of more viral reels, but it's good. We've picked up a decent amount of followers for that. So hopefully we'll continue providing interesting content. In the world of golf, which is what I'm going to cover today, LIV Golf, big news. They lost Saudi PIF backing after this year. They're pulling it. Everybody's saying LIV is dead. I agree. I don't think you're going to have to get a normal investor, but then there's reports that Bryson and John Rahm are trying to get back on tour. Everybody's favorite commentator, Brandel Chamblee, is giving everybody the runaround and telling them that, this is exactly what we thought would happen, blah, 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 which is fine. But if you remember, let's go back to when LIV started. They get the Saudi money and everybody crucifies them, right? This is unrighteous. It's blood money. And they're just, shouting it. Okay. Devil's advocate here. Okay. They have lost the Saudi backing. They've put up like $5 billion or something like that crazy. And they're not going to do it anymore. And LIV is like, hey, we're still out here. We're going to find these guys that are going to get some corporate sponsorships and backing. Whether I believe they'll be able to secure that or not is irrelevant, but let's say they do. Okay, what if they do? What if Chase, Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, any of these just gigantic corporations, what if they say, we see some value in LIV? The pay structure is going to have to change because we're not paying out, that much money without a return. But here's where we see value. And what if they invest? And what if it keeps going? What will be the criticism of it then? Because the only thing, well, they criticized it for a lot. It's not golf because it's 54 holes. Well, it's not golf because there's no cut. There's elevated PGA Tour events that don't have a cut now. So, I'm not a fan of LIV, but I grew up. I'm a big Phil Mickelson fan. I was a fan of his growing up. I like a lot of the guys on LIV. I like golf. And I don't think it's good for the game of golf to all be consolidated. I just don't. I think it's way more popular than it ever used to be. Tiger Woods caused it to be super popular. Then we had COVID. It was the only sport you were able to even participate in during COVID. I mean, everybody else was like, shutting down, locking down, but you could golf as long as it had a pool noodle in the hole. Boy, was that dumb. But golf has exploded and everybody's playing golf now. The golf courses here in San Antonio, it's very hard to get a tee time. You need to be really thinking ahead. And even the private clubs, memberships are just bursting at the seams. So Brandel Chamblee, and I have met Brandel, good grief, maybe 10 years ago. I met him. I typically disagree with him. And he is very nice when you meet him in person. But on these shows, he's definitely paid to just come up with, outrageous statements. And he does. He's like, no way. These guys, they need to pay. I mean, these guys I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it because whether you liked LIV or not, it was competition for the tour, I guess. I just don't. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't work together or why. I'm not sure why everybody is so hateful of it, as if these guys are just utter trash. Look at the players on LIV. They can all play. So will they all come back? I don't know. What's the tour going to make them do? I have no idea. I mean, it's like, why not just, if they want to go back and qualify, can't they just go back and be treated like any other person? They can go through the Corn Ferry or something. I'm not saying you give them status right away. They did choose to leave. I think somebody like Mickelson has a lifetime exemption, and they especially hate him. But he's a major winner, 6-time major winner. I think you have the olive branch out there. I really do. I think it would be much better for the game of golf. I don't like this. I don't like the idea of the PGA Tour being in total control of golf. I don't like it. I don't think their product has been very good for a little while. Was pretty fun this weekend. Cam Young winning at Doral. I want to say who owns the course, but the last time I did, YouTube flagged me for political like support or something. It was really weird. So, but it was held at Trump Doral. Pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not exactly sure where this is all going. I don't know where this is all going. I do think LIV is definitely going down. It's not going to resemble what it is now, but I don't know. Maybe it competes with the Corn Ferry. Sorry. Maybe it competes with the Corn Ferry or something like that. I liked parts of the team golf aspect. I like the idea that they would possibly draft guys from college that maybe didn't have a clearing path towards the tour, and they would allow them to develop at a home base, would be mentored by these more experienced guys. I think that had a lot of value, but I don't know. So, and then one thing they did do, and I think every guy on tour should be happy about, but the purses on the tour are way up, and that is directly, LIV is directly responsible for that. So when they started paying $3.5-4 million to win, the tour magically found some money and came up with some stuff. So I don't know. I hope the tour is financially stable, but they are paying out an awful lot of money. All right. Let's see here. Anybody knows Brandel Chamblee, let's get him on this podcast. I'd like to talk to him. Because it doesn't seem like he has any type of forgiveness, that the guys could never be forgiven and come back on tour. And that's weird to me. Anyways, we've also had, this podcast episode is going to be all over, but I am an avid, make sure I keep kicking my thing. Good grief. I got the camera a little closer, so this is not an ideal setup, but I am an avid Miami Dolphins fan and have been since 1994. My first game as a Dolphins fan was the fake spike in New York against the Jets. Marino. So it was great. My brother was a Dolphins fan growing up. That's how I, kind of jumped on the bandwagon there. They were good for about 5 years. Then they have sucked. And I mean, they're god awful for 25 years. 2 weeks before I got married. So I got married in 2001, 2 weeks before I got married. It was the year 2000. And it was December, whatever, 30th. I believe it was 30th I think it was 30th or 31st, whatever. It was very close, 30th, I think. Sorry. They played the Indianapolis Colts. I didn't get to watch this game, but they won this game in overtime. Peyton Manning was very young, and the Dolphins won. And I didn't get to watch it because I was the best man at my friend's wedding. The following week, they play the Raiders or the Broncos. I can't remember which. I was probably the Raiders and got absolutely just annihilated. And I had told my wife, hey, if they win this next one, it's going to be the championship on our honeymoon. I'm watching the game. They have not won a playoff game since before I was married. I've been married 25 years. This is an absolute crisis, and it's extremely sad. We have been through probably 30 quarterbacks. Just incompetence at the highest level. If you want to talk about leadership, like everything rises and falls with leadership. I believe John Maxwell says that. That's the absolute truth. The Miami Dolphins have not been led by good leaders. Well, anyways, we had the NFL draft. We have a new coach. We have a new GM. Now we've done new coaches every 3 years for 25 years. And you always get excited about it. Well, I'm getting cynical. And all my kids are Dolphins fans, and they're like, why are we Dolphins fans? Good question. Because we're loyal and we're stubborn. So we had a draft. And so here, first 5 picks, they took Caden Proctor, offensive tackle from Alabama. I usually watch the draft. I did not watch it this year, but I was keeping up. Chris Johnson, cornerback from San Diego State. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech. We were particularly excited about that one since the last great linebacker we had, Zach Thomas, came from Texas Tech. And now we got this Jacob Rodriguez. He used to play quarterback. You're like, oh, this guy's going to be a mastermind of the defense. His wife's like a Blackhawk pilot. Super cool. And I'm stoked about that. And I like to see offensive line and linebackers, defense, things like that, corners. I still think we're going to be really, really bad this year, but we have a new quarterback, Malik Willis from the Green Bay Packers. Everybody's excited about him. He's big. He's not going to get hurt. And he went to the Miami Marlins game and threw out the opening pitch. And this is viral all over Instagram. And he missed the catcher by 15 feet to the right. So bad. And everybody's comments are like, well, have you seen Joe Burrow throw a baseball? He's really bad at that too. It's almost like they're two different things. That's fine. But literally the memes are a Miami Dolphins quarterback throws out the opening pitch and it goes how you think it would. We are the laughing stock of the NFL, and I can't stand it. It's upsetting. You're hoping for a good year. So I imagine we'll be bad this year. I'll know as soon as I see preseason. You can kind of feel. I think we'll be hardworking. I just don't know that we got the talent. We're like $200 million over the cap. So we had Tua Tagovailoa. I was super happy that we drafted him. But to be clear, I was a big Tua fan when he was at Alabama. He did get a hip dislocation or fracture or something like his last game in college. And I do think that had a big effect on him. He was never super fast, but he was pretty good and mobile. And then he came to Miami, started getting concussions, man. And it's hard to watch when he's good, very good, but he does not have a strong arm. And I think I was hoping maybe that they would keep him. I don't know, but we got sick of watching him. He's in Atlanta now because he came from the Dolphins. He's guaranteed to at least make the NFC Championship game. This is how this works. If you're a Dolphins fan, that's how that works. But anyways, the NFL is it'll be, let's see here, we're at May. I mean, you're going to have training camp starting in June. I love football. And then we'll have college football going strong. The playoffs were pretty great this last year. Indiana Hoosier quarterback Fernando Mendoza went number 1 overall to the Raiders, which is like, I always wonder how those guys feel. They have the greatest season that they've ever had. Oh my gosh, I'm going number 1 to the Raiders. Sorry. But Tom Brady's associated with that team, so they're, everybody's talking them up like they'll be amazing. Maybe, I hope, I wish him the best. But what do we have coming up? Okay. On May 11th, Jay has his U.S. Open qualifier. On May 20th, Jay has the Texas Amateur qualifier. It got rained out. He played 1 hole. He had a 10-footer left for eagle. And then it got rained out. And they blew the horn, so he's got to play again. And on May 20th, Destiny has the U.S. Junior Girls qualifier at Falcon Point in Katy, Texas. So that will be interesting. This will kick out on May 8th, I believe. So we got 2 more episodes before those, and then we'll kind of recap the results of that. And then Destiny's got trips to Arizona. She's got a tournament at Papago, which is Arizona State's home course. She's got that in late May. Trip to Fort Wayne, Indiana in mid-June. And then, of course, Eve's starting up. And Eve's got some 9-hole little linksters that I get a caddy for. Woohoo! And it's going to be a busy summer. It's going to be a great summer. We're excited for it. And as always, I think this is about all I got. This was the first solo episode. Give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and appreciate you for listening. Hello. You're still there. Great. Hit like, subscribe, make sure the bell's on. You won't miss another one of these fantastic episodes.